today talked about Maxey and the importance of defending him. What do you feel like? Obviously, Brad took on that assignment. What do you feel like was key on how he defended Maxey tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy at the point of attack, and he did a phenomenal job. You know, we saw him come in second half on Dame Lillard the other night and do a great job. You know, we had Grayson on him early, and we decided to start Brad on him tonight on Maxey. And he did a great job, and our bigs did a great job, you know, just being up in all of his pick and rolls, not letting him get comfortable, come off shooting threes. So it was a team effort. You know, to hold their leading scorer to 20 points under their average is a hell of a defensive response for what we were looking for after last game.
Curious on the closeouts on three, how would you rate the contest rate tonight?
It was far better. Even left our feet too many times for shot fakes. But I'll take that, you know, compared to what we saw the other night.
Curious, when you look at just, you know, obviously coming off the loss and then seeing Grayson do what he did tonight. I know he's done it several times this year, but what's key for him in having those kind of nights?
I mean, he's just aggressive at all times, you know, from behind the arc, and quite frankly, putting it on the floor. You know, he's one of our best players, and you know, he's steady. You know, you never know whether you're up 20, down 20. You know, he just goes out and plays and competes. He's got a maturity about him that's really good for our group, and he's always a threat to do what he did tonight.
Like you said, we've seen Brad step up in some of these, even the Zion matchup back in New Orleans and these types of moments. Is the reason maybe he doesn't get them more often just about how much he also has to do it on offense?
Yes.
Kind of picking and choosing spots with him?
Yep. You know, you try to manage it, and if we can have Grayson eat up some minutes on some top scorers, then we try to do that. You know, we felt like with this matchup, let's put Brad on him right away. You know, what I loved about Brad's game is, you know, he wasn't having the best offensive night, you know, both with his actions and not, you know, he was the guy that didn't get it, you know, a lot of shots tonight in terms of trying to balance the big three. And he didn't let that slow him down at all. He went out and guarded. He had three of the best defensive plays of the year, all in sequence at the end of the third quarter. It was a back tip. It was a big shoulder, contain, and strip, and then a chase down block off the backboard, which were just three phenomenal plays. You know, we're trying to go for the kill, you know, in the middle of the third quarter to put this team away, and what he did during that stretch was phenomenal for us.
Coach, it feels like we've asked about this 4 or 5 times this year, but when you see the names that Kevin Durant is passing on the NBA's all-time scoring list, what's your reaction?
Yeah, we're lucky to have him. He's one of the greatest scorers ever to play this game, and one of the greatest players ever to play this game. And you know what he's doing for our group is, you know, obviously the totality of his career. You can see the numbers by passing somebody like Shaq. And but what he's doing for this year's team is far greater than just scoring the basketball. You know, he's been one of our best defenders, and you know, I don't know where we'd be without him. What he's doing, playing a complete game. You know, in particular on the defensive side.
Coach, we weren't sure if we were going to see IT tonight. Just what changed with that decision to put him in?
It's garbage time, and he's our third string point guard. You know, so if the game calls for it, if we have injuries or foul trouble, we can use him. Or if you know, we get into garbage time where I want to get the starters out, and we use him then.
Royce was also kind of touching his shoulder a little bit. How did he come out of?
Yeah, I think he's okay. I didn't get an update on him, which tells me that he should be fine.
Coach, the turnovers, 23, and the issue sometimes is the points they're getting off of them. Like it's live ball and they're going the other way. What do you feel like was the cause for the turnovers?
Their style of play. I mean, they're first in the league in forcing turnovers. They gamble all over the place, and they grab and hold, and quite frankly, they foul. They foul all night long, and the refs didn't call it all night long. So we can look at our passing, which can be better, you know, but they're hacking us across the arm the whole night. Okay, and the freedom of movement rules that are in place don't apply to Kevin Durant apparently, because he can't take 2 steps without getting rerouted off of his spot, which is a freaking joke, you know. So that's what I'd say about the turnovers.
Coach, you guys have been the #1 rebounding team since the All-Star break in the NBA. Is that a point of emphasis coming out of the break, and how has Yusuf Nurkic really contributed to that?
He's our leader in that area. It's always been a point of emphasis for us to be a heavy crashing team offensively, and to dominate the defensive boards. And you know, we need all 5 guys to box out. But Nurk taking care of his own man and securing boards on the defensive side, and then being a beast offensively, going to the board. We weren't perimeter crashers, but I mean, what do you have? He had 5 tonight, and he's one of the best rebounders in the league, if not the best rebounder in the league, and he's just doing some big time dirty work for us.
Coach, I'm curious if Grayson was talking about the value of spacing even further beyond the arc to kind of see how the defender how far they'll go out there. As the NBA has evolved, is that something you start coaching more, is the spacing further?
Yeah, we like guys to start out there, and guys that have more 3-point line range step into it at the line. But somebody like Grayson and Eric Gordon, those guys can shoot it from we call it 4-point range, which is 6-8 feet behind the arc, and those guys have that ability and really stretches out the defense.
So you guys have a back-to-back tomorrow. You're playing the Hawks. What can you bring from tonight into tomorrow?
Well, I challenged our guys after the Bucks game to do a couple things better: our defensive disposition, our contest rate at the 3-point line, just our overall playing harder than we played in that game. I thought we did all of those things, and to let the pass, the extra pass, connect us more offensively. So it's less one screen, one player touching it into the shot. We had more ball movement possessions, which probably led to a few more turnovers. But we were playing for each other, and that was a challenge from last game to this game. We got our guys really responded, and we got to carry that over into tomorrow night.
Coach, it seemed like after struggling in the first quarter, the whole team, Vogel took it upon himself to spark up not only the team but the crowd. Is that by design, or is that just a next man up mentality? Next
man up. He's just playing within his role. They were over helping off of him. The ball swung to him. He caught it in rhythm and shot the basketball. Knocked down a few plays, and he made some good contest plays. He did have one play where he didn't get matched up, which is always frustrating for a coach. But for the most part, he was really solid in that first half, and didn't turn the basketball over. Second half, had some turnovers. He's got to play within himself with those situations, but he gave us a hell of a lift in the first half. He was really good.
Kevin, first, congrats on passing Shaquille O'Neal. I'm sure you was looking at the video there, what he had to say about you passing him. Just your thoughts on reaching that milestone and becoming 8th all-time on the list and passing O'Neal.
Yeah, like I've been saying about stuff like that, I'm just grateful to be in a category with some of the greatest. We all know what Shaq meant to the game of basketball, so to be up there with him is a major, major honor in my opinion. One of the all-time greats in sports history, so, and I know the game is much more than scoring, it's about winning championships and doing other things, but it's cool to be up there with those names.
The names you passed, I think it's like maybe 4 guys you passed this year. When you were, did you ever peek at the list at any point, looked at it and said, okay, he's there, I'm getting close to that person. Do you do that or not?
I mean, it's hard to stay away from. It's hard to not look at stuff like that. I mean, come across the timeline and the stats. I've seen so many stats the last few years just scrolling through social media. So yeah, you see that stuff, and so many greats on those lists that had amazing careers. So I just want to be in that same breath as those guys, and keep enjoying the game every day. I think that's the goal for me. And if I happen to continue to move up on the scoring board, that's cool. But game is much more than that.
What do you think of how you guys won tonight? Doing the job on Maxey, Grayson obviously going off again from 3. What do you think of how that outcome was tonight, as far as how you guys got the win?
Yeah, we won. I think holding Maxey to 6 points was key. Oubre 7 for 20, 18 points. That was key. You gotta get a third unit credit. They came in and mucked the game up when we was up 25. But it's about getting wins, man. Like, we just want to win games. I know it's about how you win sometimes, but at this point in the season, we just need to add wins.
Frank was talking about defending the 3-point line being a point of emphasis. How did you feel you guys did in that respect?
Solid. They got up 37. I mean, it's hard to take away 3-pointers in the NBA. And sometimes it's about just if teams making them over to contest or not. But I don't think we gave up wide open ones. And we were aggressive to push him off the line, and I think that's how we was able to get a lead.
Isaiah Thomas is a guy who's been in the league for a long time, hasn't been here for almost 2 years. Just what are your thoughts on him getting that opportunity and the kind of reception that he got tonight checking in?
Yeah, just happy for him. You know, it's just the nonstop work, and something I admire about him. Been doing IT since we were 17 years old, and he's been the same worker since then. And the story that he has, his career that he's been through, has only been inspired basketball players around the world. So I'm grateful I get to spend some time with him. Never been around him in this type of setting as a teammate before, but heard nothing but great things. And his first couple days, he's just in the gym working on this game. I love that about him. Absolutely love that about him. I think that's going to rub off on everybody here.
Kevin, besides not making shots in the first quarter, starting at 1-11 start, what do you think contributed to that with the turnovers? You started out with, the team started out with 7 in that first quarter.
I'm trying to make the right play, you know. Trying to make the extra pass. You know what I mean? We had, 34 assists, 23 turnovers. We can't have 23. But a lot of times we had good intentions, it just didn't work out.
Kevin, when you look at just even the Sun, the 76ers mucking the game up, and that probably led to some of those turnovers. You guys have probably seen that all year, so how do you, as a team, change that? Okay, we know that could happen. This is what needs to happen for us to avoid.
Yeah, I think teams just try to throw us off going into the fourth, pressing, zone, 2-3, running and trapping, throwing gimmicks out there on defense, and sometimes it catches off guard, and then it may take us a few possessions to get to understand it, and then they may switch their defense again. I think that's just the chess match that you have, and as an NBA coach, and I think we did a good job of finding better shots after that first initial start of the fourth quarter. I thought we found better looks after that.
Grayson, obviously it was an opportunity to bounce back from a loss. What you feel like you guys did well enough to get the win tonight?
We moved the ball really well. We got a lot of good looks, especially early in the game when we were shooting 20% at the start of the game. We were getting really good looks, and us continuing to stay with that led to us, I think we had 30-something assists, right? 30-something assist game, moving the ball. Great looks, got up a lot of threes, a lot of good threes, and it was a good offensive game for us and good defensively too. Brad did a great job on Maxey, limiting his touches, Nurk too, being up in the pick and roll. So a good response defensively and offensively.
What was it like getting it going tonight? Tied the season high.
Yeah.
Career high from three. Just maybe speak to that and how you were feeling tonight.
Yeah, a lot of them were from Book and his pick and rolls tonight, like early kick aheads, head up in transition, the throw behind. So I told him thank you when we were sitting on the bench there after the game. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of good looks playing off those guys, and it felt good seeing missed a few early, but the ball kept finding me and just continued to let it fly.
What's it, considering that with the percentage you're shooting this year, are you even surprised when you're getting open looks? I hear what you're saying, it's off of other people, but at a certain point, you like, why the hand in my face? Because those were getting wide open.
A little bit. Like, there are certain teams that have a game plan that they try to get into a full rotation. It's tough to do when we have 4 really good shooters out there. So when the ball just gets swung around, it's going to end up in somebody's hands. And tonight it was mine. Other times, like, I just try to space. Like, sometimes I'm spacing out to like 30, 35 feet just to see how far the man will come out and see how much space he'll give the guy with the ball, whether it's Book, Kev, or Brad. And if he tries to shift at the last second, it's an even longer closeout. So there's a little game within the game being played there.
I think this was your 7th game with 8+ made threes. That's the most in the season outside of Steph, Clay, Harden, and Dame. When you hear that you're part of that company, what's your reaction?
That's some elite 3-point shooters right there. It's big time, and yeah, I'm a much different shooter than those guys in the list. Those guys are primary ball handlers, primary creators, getting a lot of their shots in pick and roll, ISOs off the dribble. So for me, I can't give enough credit to, Kev always has his head up when he's getting doubled in the post. Brad on his drives always has his head up to find me. Book when he's operating the pick and roll. So I have to give a lot of thanks to those guys and continuing to find me and trusting the pass there.
On the other end, I know defending the three-point line was a point of emphasis.
Yep.
Outside of that fourth quarter stretch there, how do you feel you guys did in that respect?
We did good. We overcompensated a little bit. We were flying at shooters and jumping at pump fakes out there, but we did a good job. It was a good response, like the sense of urgency and getting out and trying to run guys off the line that are good shooters or at least make it a heavily contested three. I thought we did a really good job.
Grayson, a different question. After games, do you have a routine or something that you do once you leave the arena to try to get basketball out of your system and kind of decompress a little bit?
Not really. It's pretty simple. Like at this point, my body's used to having to wind down very quickly after the game. So usually for me, it's back home, get some food, usually watch some show for about an hour with my wife and hit the bed.
Whether you play well or struggle, does that affect the way you sleep at all?
No, not usually. No. Thankfully, I've been playing well, so I haven't had to worry about that.
Grayson, I'm guessing you're at 9 those last couple of attempts. Are you trying to get to 10 now?
I knew I had 9 on the very last one. I think I had 2 chances at it. I missed the one before, but I wasn't thinking about it. And then I kind of realized, like, I have 9. And that last one was such a good look, great pass. It was right on line. I thought it was going in.
You mentioned the spacing a few feet off the line to see how far they will come out there. That's something Eric used to do a lot in Houston.
Yep.
Mike didn't know. Is that something you talked to him about?
No, but I actually watched a lot of Eric Gordon film when I was in Memphis, just because when I was in Memphis, we were talking about me getting up more volume of three-pointers, especially with jaw handling in the pick and roll. So I watched EG, and he's like a master at being a high quad spacer. He's really good at spacing out to 30 feet and then stepping into the shot so it's not a 30-footer, and then being like an attacker from the wing. He's really good at slot driving there. So I actually watched a lot of film on EG, but he does a great job of, like, it's sometimes it's an easier shot if you're just a few feet back because you have that extra split second to set your feet. And a guy like him, like, he has range out to 35, so 30 is not a big deal. And the same for me, like, if I'm just a couple feet back off the line, but it gives me that extra second to get my feet a little bit more set, get into my jump shot a little bit more, it makes it a little bit of an easier shot and a further closeout for them.
Grayson, with the turnovers, I was curious just what it's like on the floor. You guys know it's an issue, and when they start to pile up like they did in this game, just how do you guys try and stay level through what has to be frustrating?
We did a good job tonight. We defensively, which kind of, I guess, hid the fact that we turned the ball over a lot, because I think we went into halftime with double digits. And then in the fourth quarter, it started to hurt us when they were pressing and they started to get easy fast break buckets off of our turnovers. But it's something we just keep improving. Like fourth quarter, it's just getting a little sloppy with, having a lead and they're pressing and we don't get into the right spots on a press break, whatever it is. First quarter, like sometimes I feel like it's from overpassing a little bit and guys trying to be a little bit too unselfish when they get into the paint instead of taking the easy shot, trying to make an extra pass that isn't really needed, but it comes from the right place. So, but we'll get better at it. These last 13 games will be better.
Grayson, what does it mean for you to share the court with Kevin Durant when he has moments like you had tonight, passing Shaq for number 8 on the unbeatable points scoring?
Yeah, it's really cool. Every 5 games seems like he's passing another legend, another Hall of Famer. So it's just awesome to be out there and try not to take these moments for granted, playing with such a great player like that. Yeah, it's really cool. I went to Kev's camp when I was in high school. I actually saw this picture a few weeks ago from his skills academy. So it's kind of funny now. It's 2014, so 10 years later, being his teammate is pretty cool.
Last one.
14 games left or so. Are you guys scoreboard watching as this season winds down?
You mean the standings?
Yes.
No. I mean, you inevitably do when you get down to like the last 5 games. We obviously know where we are in the standings. We know where we want to be, and that's out of the play-in and into the playoffs. So, but to do that, you just got to win games. And when you get down to the last few, you start looking at it. But ultimately, it's just about winning.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.